Welcome back again, guys. So today we are going to be talking about the dress tab. So before I get into this, I do want to say that there are an absurd amount of items in this tab that are completely useless or worse than useless. So if you were to use them, you would be actively harming yourself. I would not recommend to use those items. Once I come along them, I will be saying that. But there are also quite a few items in here that are really strong. So first things first, we got the sewing kit. So this is one of those really strong items. So you use this to repair your thermal stone and your umbrella. And for those two use cases, it is amazing. It makes it very cheap to use those items, and quite frankly, it makes a sewing kit a very good item on its own. It uses 8 silk, a log, and 2 houndstooth ears, so really cheap crafting recipe, and you definitely are going to want to make one of these. Garland. Worst item in the entire game. If I see you building this in my server, I normally would kick you. So it takes 12 petals, meaning you pick 12 flowers, which means I already hate you for building this, because if you pick 12 flowers, that means there's less butterflies for me to eat that are spawning in. It also means that you're raising your sanity. Not a very good idea there. And also, you're going to be wearing this on your head, so you're not wearing any armor, and you're going to get murdered by anything that comes by and lightly taps you. It also raises your sanity as you wear it, but not very much, so even if you wanted to be sane, it doesn't help at all. And I don't know why this item exists. I hate it so much. Straw hat, so this can help keep some rain off you, and it also helps you stay cool. So if you were to join in on spring and it was raining really hard, you may make one of these. Or if you're joining in on summer and it was like really hot out, you may decide to make one of these before you go find a cave entrance. There are some possibilities there, and it also is used in crafting recipes for a couple other items they do have their use cases. Top hat, so this is used in building the Prestidigitator. As far as wearing it goes, don't. Please don't. Just don't. Thanks. Your helmet slot should be saved for wearing a helmet. You really want to put a football helmet there, because it really is just increasing your overall health as far as that goes to basically everything. Rain hat. So this is used for when you're on a pub, you're playing Wicker Bottom, someone decides that they don't like something you're doing, and they get rid of your tentacle trap or something, and you just decide you don't like them. You put this on, you get the end as nigh out, you get rid of them, you're all good, okay? So yes, this gives you protection from the rain, and it also gives you 100% insulation. So in the older days when PvP still existed, people would use it in PvP as Wicker Bottom. Nowadays, it's basically just used as a troll item. Rabbit ear muffs. So these are going to help keep you warm in winter. Would not recommend, because you should be wearing a helmet in that slot. Please use a thermal stone instead to keep yourself warm. A thermal stone can do a lot for you as long as you let it heat you up until you are overheating, instead of just until the thermal stone is where it's orange, because when it's at orange in winter, you're actually still really cold. So just keep that in mind when you're using your thermal stone, and you don't need these warm-up items. Beefalo hat. So this is garbage, absolute garbage. So what it does is it keeps you warm, keeps you the warmest out of any hat. So that's supposed to be what it's good for in winter, and blah blah blah, and I don't care. Meanwhile, it also helps it so that you do not get attacked by beefalo while they are mating. So it will help you out with that. It will make sure that they will not be aggressive to you. So that's supposed to be another use case for it. I don't really see much point to that, because in DST, the beefalo do not multiply all that fast, and they do have they have a cap they max out at, whereas in normal don't starve, they do not. And what you can do is, after you get those shadow pieces all done, you can just completely eradicate the beefalo. They serve no purpose. So winter hat. So this one also keeps you warm. Don't use it ever. Please, use a helmet. Cat cap. This one also keeps you warm, but it's even worse than the other ones. Please do not. If I see you using this in a server I'm hosting, I'd probably kick you. God. Sea wreath. So this is it's kind of your counter to the garland here, and it's also just straight up garbage. All ocean content is garbage, by the way. Please, there's just no point in taking part in any of it, at least with the way it is currently. We may not see that be the way it is going forward, but currently it's just not good. So this lowers your sanity. People may try and use this when they're like on Lunar Island or something, but there's no point in going to Lunar Island. I don't care if you're going for stone fruit. There's just nothing worth it there. There's better items on land for everything that's done there. Fashion goggles. Garbage. Don't build them. They just restore sanity. They're really trash. Don't build them. Desert goggles. These are to keep the sand out of your eyes while you're walking through the sandstorm in the desert. You have to fish out a blueprint for this. I never use this item. I never will use this item. I don't want to see anyone use this item. There's no point. So when you get to summer and you need to worry about antlion, just run straight over to the antlion through the sandstorm. Don't worry about it. Give him his cold thermal stone or his warm thermal stone and just beat the crap out of him and just leave. Oasis Desert, there's nothing good for you there during summer. You want to be underground during the summer. You don't want to be on the surface, because things on the surface ain't so great during the summer. Fashion melon. So in the older days, this was actually a really useful item because there was a bug with it where how they had coded it was your temperature could not drop below a certain amount, which is how it stopped it from freezing you. So you'd actually use it in winter to keep yourself warm, which was a really weird use case. But since this bug been removed for a long time now, basically what it's to do is it keeps you cold for summer. You shouldn't be on the surface during summer when it can get to the point where heating you up is going to kill you. I would recommend being underground because the ambient temperature is just pretty neutral. So I wouldn't use this item ever. Ice cube. This is another item that just keeps you cold. So once again, just stay underground during summer and you're going to be fine. Beekeeper hat. So this protects you against bees. So it actually is a pretty good item because there's not another use case for silk. So I would recommend that if you don't have thulecite crowns you want to use against the bee queen fight, that you go ahead and build a couple of these if you have some silk lying around, because they are a good choice. So we got the feather hat here. This is a really weird item. So you can use this, and while wearing it, you're going to have more birds spawn around you. Would I ever use it? No, I just wouldn't. Sorry, I'm not going to. I don't see a point. Bush hat. So this lets you turn into a bush. Let me show you guys, because this is kind of a weird item. So you can use this to avoid some mobs becoming aggressive to you if they walk past you. I've also seen people use it in PvP before, in the older days when people actually did PvP, but if you're playing as Wolfgang, you can see I'm kind of a big berry bush here. Yeah. I mean, it'll make you small if you're in Wimpy form. It'll make you too big if you're in Mighty form, so you have to be in normal form to use it if you're as Wolfgang in PvP. So that's kind of that's a thing. Also, it takes a berry bush to craft, so a little bit expensive there, but not too bad. Raincoat. So no point. It's to keep you dry. I mean, it goes in your chest slot, which is really useful for a lot of things. Really, to keep yourself dry, you do want to use a umbrella if you can. If you can't use an umbrella, say someone else on the server is already using it and you're playing with too many people, what you want to do is use an umbrella in your primary slot when the rain is out and wear a football helmet, which will cover you to 100% protection from water, because the football helmet does a little bit and the umbrella does a lot, and then that gets you over 100%. Dapper vest. So the dapper vest, it keeps your sanity up. It has a quite high positive sanity R. Would never use it. It goes in the chest slot, really bad with that. And then also the up that it is still isn't like enough to care about, because it is going to degrade while you wear it and degrade pretty quickly. So even if you were trying to stay sane, this wouldn't be the item to do that with. And I would recommend you don't stay sane. Breezy Vest. This keeps you warm, but not as warm as the Puffy Vest. So would I use this? No, definitely not. It goes in your chest slot, which is useful for a lot of things like backpacks and the Magiluminescence amulet, which makes you run faster. And so basically, you just don't want to use this item. Use thermal stones to keep you warm. Puffy Vest, same thing going on as the Breezy Vest, is just the better variant, and it takes a winter qualifiant trunk, so you have to get this in winter. Would never use it, don't recommend. Use the thermal stone. Some refreshed, so this is kind of like the opposite variant of the Breezy Vest. So this is going to keep you cool during the summer. You're going to want to stay underground during summer though, and that'll keep you cool instead. So don't use this. Floral shirt. So this is your equivalent to the Puffy Vest. You're just going to stay underground during summer. You don't want to build this. There's no point. Walking cane. Great, we got to an item that's useful. So the walking cane is probably, if I had to give one item the title of best in the game, it would have to be the walking cane or its upgraded counterpart, the Lazy Explorer. So this makes you run faster while wearing it, and it also acts as a permanent weapon. So you have infinite durability with it, and it can work for aggroing enemies, and very, very useful item. Mostly just because movement speed is very OP. So you definitely want to build one of these. You want to build one of these as fast as possible. You want to pick these up off of boons. You want a walking cane really, really bad. Hibernation Vest. So this item is really hard for me to say it's outright bad, because as it is an item that its main purpose is to keep you warm, it also slows down the rate of your hunger draining, and it lasts for a while. And then also some people like it that it restores their sanity. So for those people, they can really think that, you know, this item may be useful. I've seen some people put together some use cases for it. I mean, I don't think I would ever use it with how aggressively I play. Food isn't really an issue even with playing Wolfgang, and you have to make it to the second autumn to even get this. So quite a hard item to get, and not all that useful for how hard it is to get. Maybe make the insulation pack instead, which is an upgraded backpack, which helps with keeping your food cold as you into the time where you get a Krampus sack. Unless you already got a Krampus sack, in which case, I mean, you can go do what you want. Ibrella. This is another great item from this tab. I love the Ibrella. So the Ibrella is the end-all, be-all of getting past the rain during spring. Now, the rain in spring is really, really dangerous because when you get really wet, it makes it so that you can't really attack enemies. The items will fall out of your hand. And then you'll also freeze to death. Along with that, you can also have frog rain start at the same time, so then you're in a really hairy predicament. In that situation, I would continue to wear my Ibrella and just go straight for the caves, or try and kite the frogs while I kill them, which should be very possible as Wolfgang, especially with the type of gear I have by then for speed gear, without getting hit. Now the issue is there, I'm not going to have any armor on, which I don't like, but if I can get rid of my one nuisance, which is my weapon falling out of my hand and me freezing to death, I mean, it's a fair trade-off there. And this gives 100% resistance to all the water, and it lasts so long, and then you can repair it with the sewing kit, as I stated earlier. So, I mean, you only need one of these ever. You only use one Deerclops eyeball, and you just keep this thing forever. Red Fun Cap. Oh, I also forgot to say, you can use it for those couple of days where you kill an antlion to keep yourself cool, or if you come back to the surface to kill the shadow pieces during the first summer. It can be useful for that too, just as you won't really want to build other items that can keep you cool, and it also works for that. Red Fun Cap. So all these fun caps are the same, except you just build them out of different different caps. So this one's built out of the red ones. So what it does is it makes it so that you use less hunger, except its downside is, well, first off, it's going to spoil just over time, so you don't get all that much use out of it. And second off, it makes it so that spoiling items in your inventory, so anything that is perishable at all, is going to spoil faster. Now, if you know anything about Don't Starve, this is a huge issue, because when your primary weapon is just all the time, always, is going to be the handbat, you're not going to have enough dark swords to sustain yourself always. So this is going to make your weapon just get worse over time, much, much faster, very, very bad. It also makes your food get worse over time, much, much faster, also very bad. It also makes itself go bad faster while you wear it. Kind of a weird thing. Not sure why that downside is in place, seeing as this item is also really, really hard to get. You have to kill Toadstool for these. So Toadstool, I mean, he's got like 50k HP. You can't use Handbat against him, so you're basically just throwing resources down the drain. Would not recommend these items under any circumstance. I hate these items. I'm not sure why any of these fun caps exist. They're really, really bad. And that is all for this video today, guys. If you like the video, I'll send you your very own walking cane made out of a large humanoid walrus tooth. And make sure to subscribe for more videos, guys. Bye-bye.